Connor Boyford,
Present.
Calamar Montanez,
Present.
Amanda Nunez Ferreira,
Here. Present.
Diana Nguyen, Adeline Hapgood,
Present.
Veronica Perez,
Present.
Maximus Barber,
Present.
Kayla Barrios,
Present.
Evan Grosso,
Present.
Victoria Jones,
Present.
Abby Matthews,
Present.
Isabella McCray,
Present.
Berthy,
Present.
Cameron Renda,
Present.
Morgan,
Present.
Mariah,
Present.
Ray Vieira, Ray,
Present.
Julia Zivin.
Present.
Present.
All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 46 out of 50. Quorum is verified.
Awesome. All right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? All right. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it is approved. We'll go to open forum. Is there anyone that's wishing to speak in open forum? Awesome. All right. Is there a motion to open nominations for Senate President? Are there any objections? Awesome. Are there any nominations for Senate President? Senator Colton.
I nominate Senator Reed.
Awesome.
I nominate Senator Sherman.
Awesome. Okay. Is there a motion to close nominations? All right. Are there any objections? Seeing none, nominations are now closed. Is there a motion for
5, 10, 10.
5, 10, 10? Awesome. Unlimited questioning and unlimited debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Okay. We'll hear from candidates in this order. First up will be Senator Reed. And then Senator
No, Sherman.
Sherman, excuse me. Go ahead, Senator Reed.
Hold on, bring up her PowerPoint.
Am I good to begin?
You can tell them, yeah. she did.
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Senate. First, I want to apologize for not being with you all in person. My sister is graduating this weekend, so I'm in Boston with my family celebrating. With that being said, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Anna Reed, and I'm a fourth-year political science and theater studies student from Fort Myers, Florida. My journey into student government started like many of you, through the Student Government Leadership Council. To be honest, I was terrified coming to UCF as I heard of the 70,000 student population and I was uncertain of how I would find my place in such a large campus. But like any good freshman does, I went to opening night and I first learned of student government and the Student Government Leadership Council. As you could expect, I got in, and from there, the trajectory of my college career completely changed. I fell in love with UCF and wanted to find all ways to be involved. Throughout my time here, I've had the privilege of joining RSOs such as Model United Nations and Her Campus UCF. I've held many jobs as well and internships, including orientation leading, UCF Athletics Strategic Communications intern, currently an intern for the College of Arts and Humanities, and I'm a learning assistant for academic services for student athletes. Additionally, I've developed my leadership abilities through my roles in Model United Nations and President's Leadership Council, a group of 35 accomplished students who serve as ambassadors and representatives for the Office of the President. But most importantly, my time as the external legislative assistant and temporary internal legislative assistant have proven to be invaluable. This time last year, I really didn't expect to apply for the position of ELA. However, after hearing Speaker Court's initiatives, I felt like it was something I would be good at. Serving as ELA was such an honor, and I really enjoyed hearing all the amazing ideas that were presented in the Dean meetings. I loved how the role developed my love for Senate even further, and that admiration only grew when I helped to take on the role of ILA when it became vacant. As an alumnus of SGLC, stepping into the coordinator role was nothing but a joy. Seeing all of the SLCers grow into leaders and helping them find their passions was something I never imagined doing. As your speaker, I want to help you do the same in Senate. In the next few slides, you'll see my initiatives for the 58th session. Next slide, please. I decided to divide my initiatives into 3 main categories: internal, external, and logistics. So I wanted to start by discussing my external initiatives, which focus on outreach and branding to improve the legislative branch. As ELA, I worked directly with the deans of each college to speak to Senate about upcoming events, new projects and majors, as well as any initiatives that they were working on. I received outstanding feedback from said deans and how much they enjoyed talking with Senate about the amazing things happening in their colleges. I want to continue that, not just the connections I acquired with the deans, but to spread that to the organizations and agencies throughout UCF. As senators, it is important to be knowledgeable about how we can help our constituents, and I believe that includes being well-versed in what is happening across campus. In a similar vein, giving students an avenue to express their concerns that isn't just open forum will create a connection and community between senator and constituent. Open forum is very scary for many students, and I believe that an open house lets students speak with their senators and learn more about the branch will encourage open conversations that senators can hopefully bring up in dean meetings or committee meetings. I want to promote our branch even further by updating our tabling merchandise to align with Senate to give our branch distinct branding that will help further incentivize students to learn about what Senate does and how it is different than the other branches. Finally, I want to make sure that the website is consistently up to date. The biggest feedback I hear from students is that they are unaware of something or unsure how to reach out because of a delay in the website. Now that we have the SG Drive, it is significantly easier to have our legislation updated, but I want that to extend to minute details such as ensuring our chair and vice chair positions are correct.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you. For internal, I also want to help with inter-branch collaboration and working with all our branches to ensure we have clear and concise communication. You can read more there. Next slide, please. I also believe that highlighting the accomplishments of the Senate body is important, and I want to reward those who go above and beyond. And finally, for my legislative assistants, starting with the ELA, I want the ELA to be an effective communicator and be able to work with the comm teams very, very well. And similarly with the ILA, I want them to take on a lead role with the SLC program and really focus on retention throughout this semester. Being speaker extends far more than just the title. I want to make a real difference for all of you and work to make the 58th session the best that it can be. Thank you all for taking the time to hear my initiatives, and I look forward to answering your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Reed. We'll now hear from Senator Sherman.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Owen Sherman. I'll be running to be your 58th session Senate President. Got a little bit about me here. I'm a third year majoring in legal studies and political science. I'm also a member of the Burnett Honors College and a National Merit Scholar. I want to get into the initiative since there's not a lot of time, so I will keep moving. In terms of my experience in student government, I've been a senator now for 2 sessions, in the 56th and the 57th. I've been the conference registration and travel committee chair in this past session, as well as the vice chair of the budget committee. I've also sat on every Senate committee but one, and I've been a member of 2 caucuses. Those are just a brief overview of my initiatives that I'll be presenting. General policies. I want to continue hybrid summer meetings as we've done for the past several sessions. I know not everybody is going to be in Orlando, and so I think it's important that we can stay active despite that. And I also want to be a consistent presence in the office. So I'm going to commit to having at least 20 hours in the office per week, and along with that, an open door policy so that you can come in and talk to me whenever you need. I'd also like to continue what we did last session with bi-weekly Senate exec meetings. I think that was a very valuable thing to continue touching base. And then I'd like to prioritize efficiency and engagement. CRT, I feel like did really well with this year. In the past 3 sessions, there were 31 CRT meetings that ran 2 hours or more. In my time, there were 0. And so I think the previous speaker did really well in being efficient and engaging. I'd like to do that as well. Next is fiscal transparency. So these are just several ways that I've thought of to make our fiscal processes more transparent. First, hosting open budget packet workshops for senators to learn about our budget before it hits the floor, and also to be able to provide feedback if they'd like, specifically on Senate's budget, because it is very difficult to make amendments once we're on the floor. Actually, this year it didn't happen at all. Next, with the Speaker's Initiative Fund, this is somewhat new for this year. The Speaker is going to have $4,500 with which to fund individual senator initiatives. And so I'd like to allow senators at any time throughout the year to submit their proposals, and then I'd like to fund those over the next semester. And if there's a large volume of proposals, which I certainly hope will be the case, I'd like to consult with SBA and Senate Exec to make the best decision that we can. Last in this category is a public operations tracker, which will show senators and the student body where our $11,000 operations budget is going, just again in the interest of transparency. Next, for outreach, similar to the previous, I'd like to rehaul the website somewhat. I think information can be conveyed a little bit more efficiently. For example, putting the SBA concern form front and center rather than hidden on the committee's page, giving updated funding information, for example, whether funding is still available, consolidating all of our dean meeting initiatives into that as well so students can see, and also to market Senate vacancies. In terms of tabling, I'd like to make sure that we're ready right away to begin. So I want to collaborate with the SBA and GAP chairs and any other committees that are willing to table to make sure that we're able to purchase the things that they need to do that effectively. And then throughout all of our outreach, I'd like to make sure that we're targeting underserved students such as branch campus students, graduate students, which I've had plenty of experience with this year in CRT, just so that we're reaching all the students on campus and not just undergraduate main campus students. Next, in terms of senator development and ways we can collaborate with the other branches and external entities, I'd like to host a multitude of educational and professional workshops. For example, Robert's Rules workshops to get you all familiar with parliamentary procedure, and then to bring in external speakers that can talk on leadership, on advocacy. I think it's important that we continue to grow as leaders through the session. I think this is a good way to accomplish that. Then something that I think is fairly underutilized for Senate is Faculty Senate. I think there's not a whole lot of mutual understanding between us. I think that's a good thing to build. And then last, to make sure that we're continuing to promote Senate digitally, whether that's through the Student Government Instagram or pushing it to more external publications such as This Week at UCF, Honors This Week, just to meet students where they are.
1 minute remaining.
All right, and then in terms of my goals for the 2 legislative assistants, obviously the ILA is very important that they design and lead the Senate Leadership Council program, as well as being the SGLC coordinator for Senate in the fall. So I'd like them to have a lot of creative liberty in doing that. Next, I'd like them to work with internal committees, as I said, to create merchandise, and then to assist with the website updates, which I'd also like to involve the ELA in as well, because that's going to be a fairly significant project. And then for the ELA, they're going to be the ones who are leading and organizing all of the dean meetings throughout the semester. I'd like to have them create a more centralized resource that can show all of the initiatives that we're doing so that students can see, and so that also we can collaborate between colleges when appropriate. Also to collaborate with exec on social media, and again, to bring in those speakers. Thank you all very much, and I yield the rest of my time.
You can go back if you like.
All right, we'll now go into questioning. Thank you both for the presentations. All questions must be for every candidate, so please remind that, and we will go. So raise your hands whenever you're ready. Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For both the candidates, I know during the last session, one of the big issues that came up was involving retention. What do you think some of the issues were last session, and what do you think can be improved on in this coming 58th session?
We'll start with Senator Reed.
Great question. Thank you so much. So I understand as a student, people get very busy throughout the year, and that can be a big factor in why people kind of choose to leave throughout the year. So one thing that I really want to tackle is making sure people feel confident and comfortable going into the next session. So in one of my ideas that I touched on pretty briefly, but I really wanted to give students an opportunity, or give senators an opportunity, to be more comfortable in their leadership abilities, as well as things like their tabling workshops, so they feel more connected and more in line with the branch. I think once we start to build a community and people feel like they really find their place, not just in their committees, but in the Senate body as a whole, I think that will really, really benefit individuals to, want to stay but are a little hesitant, or, if like I said, things do get busy. So I think, having a way for students or senators to be able to, talk with the speaker as well as feeling connected with the Senate body as a whole can, I believe, help in some capacity when it comes to retention.
Senator Sherman.
Yeah, I think it comes down to exactly what I had in my general priorities, which is efficiency and engagement. If meetings are 5 hours long, people aren't going to show up. If they don't know what's going on, they don't care, so they're not going to show up. So I think it's really important that as speaker, I would keep things efficient, make sure the meetings are getting done in a timely manner, and then making sure that senators are informed enough to want to come to Senate. In CRT, this year we ended with 11 people, which is really, really good for a fiscal committee. The average over the past 3 years has been 5. We're more than double. So I like to think that throughout this past year, I've been able to make CRT a place where people feel knowledgeable and they want to come into committee, and I hope to be able to do that for Senate as well.
Any other questions?
May I ask two?
Go for it.
Okay, so the first one for both candidates. Just going to start off simple. What are the responsibilities the Senate President has? If you know them, may you please list some?
We'll start with Senator Sherman this time.
Yeah, there's, I believe, around 20 in Title III. I certainly won't go through all of them. I'll leave some for Senator Reed, but some of the basic ones would be to appoint senators to all their committees, to make sure that committees are not exceeding the maximum amount, obviously to chair Senate on every legislative day, and not to occupy any committees themselves.
Senator Reed.
I am so sorry. My internet cut out and I did not hear the question.
No worries, if you don't mind.
So the question was, are you aware of what responsibilities the Senate President has? If so, may you list some?
Okay, can you hear me? I'm so sorry. I'm cutting in and out of the internet. I'm not quite sure what's going on. It's pretty rainy over here. So I hope this wasn't said already, but appointing the external legislative assistant, internal legislative assistant, appointing senators to their committees, as well as overseeing the Senate Executive Committee.
All right, and then for my second question, following the 57th session, one thing that I noticed as a potential issue was that senators may be quiet to speak out during debate, Senate forum about bills, what have you. And so I want to know how either of you, if elected Senate President, will increase Senate participation in not only Senate meetings, but try to increase it in committee meetings as well.
Senator Reed.
I don't think she can hear it. See if she can hear me now.
Senator Reed, can you hear the question?
No.
All right, no worries, if you
There
don't
we
mind
go. I think it'll
asking.
work now. No, I think it's because it muted itself. So you should be good now.
So the question was, just summarized, how will you increase Senate participation in committee and Senate meetings?
Okay, I heard that. Thank you. Thank you so much for that question. So part of one of my ideas is revitalizing the point system. I think giving kind of reward and incentivizing individuals to get involved and showing out for each other, showing up for each other. And with these point systems, part of my idea with that as well is, you get a point for writing and, bringing legislation to the floor, as well as overall kind of like what was discussed earlier. I think having well-versed knowledge in, our Constitution, our statutes, how to make an amendment, what all the amendments mean, kind of that basic information that we talk about in orientation, but making sure that every senator is essentially an expert in this knowledge to make sure that we're comfortable and, everyone feels that they can and, what they have to say is important. Additionally, I think that kind of how I think last session we did a really great job with, keeping these meetings pretty speedy, but really emphasizing how important it is to read legislation before, we get to Senate. And before we get to the main meeting too. I think that's something that we can work on as a body and continue to discuss as a whole. In terms of being involved with committees specifically, I think for committees like GAP and SBA, those are very hands-on committees as well. And again, kind of reiterating my previous idea about tabling workshops and getting people involved, not just in the committee meetings, but outside as well. But just making sure that as speaker, I work one-on-one with committee chairs and helping them develop their ideas and their initiatives as well. Thank you.
Senator Sherman.
Yeah, I came into Senate at 17 years old, and I frankly didn't participate a whole lot. It wasn't because I didn't want to and I didn't feel that I could contribute, but it was because I was terrified. I think a lot of the issue is just that people are not, it's a new experience, right? And so I think we need to find ways to make it more familiar. One thing that I was not able to get to in my speech was on educational workshops, for example, something like a debate night, not about Senate at all, just random topics to get people talking on the floor, to get people disagreeing on the floor, which I think is really important. Things like that throughout the year that we find to get people more engaged, I think will go a long way, and not sacrifice efficiency necessarily for participation, which is always good.
Any other questions?
Thank you. You both noted in your presentations that the website was a pain point. It's one that I've noticed. I think the current one hasn't been updated since like September, October with legislative records. So for both of you, what are the most important things that you want the website to display now?
We'll start with Senator Sherman.
Yeah, I'll preface it by saying it's not going to be an easy process. If it was, I think people would have fixed it by now. So certainly recognizing that it may not be possible to fully make this, the best website possible, but I think there are some very simple changes that can be made that can really go a long way. For example, adding funding updates, posts, we've got 2 weeks left of funding. I think that'll alleviate a lot of the stress on the committee chairs for one, and also on students who don't know what's happening. I got 2,000 emails this year. Most of them were because people didn't know whether funding was available, how to get it. If we could put that right front and center on the website, I think that'll go a long way. That's one of them. Another thing I said is dean meeting initiatives, centralizing and putting them there for students and senators to see. That's another thing that I think goes a long way.
Senator Reed.
Yeah, same thing that was said previously, especially about dean meetings. I worked very hard on those meeting minutes this year, and they're not on the website yet, so we'll get there. But I think also previous meeting minutes as well, I think from our past sessions too, those are all like available but not quite updated. I think that's also valuable information, not just for students, but for senators as well, when kind of looking back and referencing previous agendas, as well as making sure our committee minutes are updated, even like small details like making sure our chair and vice chairs are updated and consistently updated if things change, which we know they do. Sometimes people have to leave positions and it changes. And even small things too, like headshots. I want people to be able to put, a face to a name. And we got some nice ones this year that weren't able to make it onto the website. So, the small little details like that, not just legislation, but, overall everything that we work on.
Any other questions?
We have 19 minutes or 19 seconds left. So if somebody wants to move to extend the time, we'll have to.
We have 19 seconds left, so if anybody would like to move to extended time.
Motion to extend speech time by 3 minutes.
Yeah, there's been a motion to extend.
There's been a motion to extend.
Questioning.
Questioning. Right. Any other questions? Go ahead.
For both candidates, what will be the priority for utilizing the speaker's fund? So some examples for how it could be used is such as like funding student events for like a tabling event, or for SG equipment like tents, something along those lines. Like, what is your general plan on using them?
Senator Reed.
Sorry. Thank you for your question. For me, the biggest would be updating our tabling materials and things that we can provide for students, as well as assisting with various events throughout the year. I think having, myself, I had ideas for events such as one that I didn't get to touch on fully, but an open house to promote, students to be able to talk through their concerns, but also advertising open seats. If, events like that and bringing students in, but also being able to support our committees and caucuses with, any type of help that they might need too. That's really a big thing for me.
Senator Sherman.
Yeah, I'll say for me, I would absolutely like to fund lots of tabling materials. I think that's more suitable for operations. So I really want to reserve the speaker's fund for individual senator initiatives. So something that you've thought of, maybe that you ran on, that you want to see happen that can't happen without money. Previously, we couldn't have done it. This year, I think we have a really great opportunity to fund some really solid initiatives that are not necessarily the routine Senate, tabling all those things, which are of course important, but these can be really unique, I think, and we can do a lot with it. And I want to reserve them for an individual senator to say, I've thought of this idea. This is how much it's going to cost. And I'd like to see this happen. And that's the Speaker's Initiative Fund is how I would like to see those initiatives funded.
We're going to go Senator Capinos.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I have 2 questions, if I may.
You may.
My first question is, I see that you guys are very active. I was looking at the presentations, at least for Anna. I know that you're a part of a couple of different things, and you're an intern currently still, as long as a learning assistant for the academic services student athletes. I would like to ask you guys, how do you feel like you're going to be able to balance this with all the other things that you're aspiring to do? I know that you guys might have plans after your undergrad. So how do you guys plan on managing that and following through with being in the office and being available?
Start with Senator Sherman.
Yeah, I'm just finishing an internship right now with the Office of the Public Defender. So if you see me in a suit before, that's probably why. So that's actually done tomorrow. So I have no commitments over the summer, no classes, just student government really. And then for the fall, it will just be classes again. I certainly won't make light of political science, but I used to be an aerospace engineer, so I'm not too worried about the time commitment for that. I'm really planning to devote a lot of time to Senate, and I think my schedule will allow me to do that.
Senator Reed.
Yeah, I was expecting this question, given how much I have and have done throughout my time here. I think the good part for me is my jobs are very flexible and I get to pick my own hours, which is great. And for me, Senate is top priority. Throughout the past semester and being so involved, I definitely learned a lot. And learning how to say no to things is very critical to make room for things that are more important. And for me, Senate definitely is top priority. And so I want to devote a lot of time to being in the office and being there all hours of the day to answer any questions that are available. And so I'm more than prepared and ready to have to, say goodbye to a few things to make room for, a full Senate schedule.
Any other questions?
You had a second one.
I had my second question.
Go ahead.
No worries. My second question is for the topics of when you talked about doing workshops and having the events. I know that Deezer is in charge of putting those internal events, and those are mainly focused on bonding. But realistically, with everything that you will be in charge of and everything that you oversee, what would those workshops look like in terms of how frequent would they be, how extensive would they be, and would you be open to some events like that to be under the responsibility of the pro temp and specifically the Deezer?
Senator Reed.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that question. I came up with this initiative originally because of President's Leadership Council. One thing that we do is we have optional workshops with campus partners and even people outside of campus where we talk about things like resume building, public speaking, networking. And so I know for myself that really helped me develop as a leader and, as essentially a campus partner. And so I wanted to bring that to Senate. And so my idea for this was to be able to have, again, networking workshops. And like I've said time and time again, tabling workshops and being able to work with different departments, whether it's career services, military and veterans, even our Department of Government Relations. I know Austin Wilson, he gave a wonderful presentation about networking. So, being able to build up those skills for Thank you.
And is there a motion to extend for a minute for Senator Sherman to respond?
For her to finish.
Or for Senator Reed to finish and for Senator Sherman to respond as well? Awesome. Any objections? Seeing none, continue, Senator Reed.
So yeah, just to wrap it up, I wanted to bring that to Senate because I really want to see everyone be able to get more comfortable in this leadership and being able to talk one-on-one with, individuals, RSOs. And I think collaborating with the DCER is a great way to bring that in and making people feel more comfortable talking to their RSOs and having these wonderful workshops. Thank you.
Senator Sherman.
Yeah, it certainly starts with the idea being we need to make senators more engaged and knowledgeable about Senate processes, better leaders outside of Senate. So whatever way that happens, I'm happy to support it or, work with the Pro Temp's office, specifically the DCER, to see it happen. Whether that's bringing new speakers into Senate orientation, having new speakers at Senate exec before meetings, certainly not ironed out the fine details in terms of how frequent or exactly who would be putting them on. I think we need to start with, again, the idea, which is we need to make senators more knowledgeable, and we can work from there. But I'd certainly like to have multiple per semester.
Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, seeing no further questions, we'll now go into debate.
So I first just want to thank both of the candidates for running. And this is, for me, super, super difficult to make this decision, but I think I will have to be in support of Senator Sherman. He is more aligned with the monetary aspect of Senate. And I just want to remind all senators here that we change the $20 million budget, and every single person in this room who is at UCF spends thousands towards this budget. And I think with that sort of leadership, that we would use the Speaker's Fund towards our personal initiatives that normally wouldn't be done would be incredibly important. And from the rest of what Senator Sherman said with the workshops and expanding how we run as Senate, I think that's something else that is really important, because each of us represent 1,000 students, and those students are not going to speak up. I can say from experience, especially with what Senator Sherman was saying and how we might be nervous speaking. When I was speaking during open forum, it was terrifying. And so we need to show our students that we represent, that we're there for them, and that we can speak up with them. And I think that Senator Sherman's leadership in this role will allow us to accomplish that, essentially. So I will be voting for him for our next Senate president.
Anyone else?
I've worked with Anna pretty closely throughout my whole time at UCF, and she is someone who's always just proved to be a really great leader. Even our freshman year in theater classes, she took charge on our everything we did. And just seeing her grow throughout this time, I just know that she would be an incredible leader for this group, and I think she would just flourish in this role. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm going to echo the sentiments of the previous senator. I think with the ILA role being vacant for the spring semester, seeing Senator Reed step into that, take over that role, and being able to handle all of those things really shows how great of a leader that she is. And I think with being in the speaker's office already this year and running the SLC program, it really shows how much she knows about it and how much experience she already has with it and how great of a job she'll be able to do with that next year. So I definitely will be voting in favor of Senator Reed.
Senator Rickett.
Thank you. Noticing these two candidates, I've kind of been weighing the pros and cons. I will say when it comes to Senator Reed, she has more of that administrative experience and knowledge working for the internals and externals. Whereas we have Senator Sherman here, he has more of that fiscal, more of the chairman leadership side of the House. Now, for me, both candidates are excellent. They are subject matter experts. For me, I would actually rather give it to Senator Sherman. I think his leadership experience just outweighs Senator Reed, even though both are great candidates. Just in my opinion, Senator Sherman here. He's great.
Anyone else? Alrighty, seeing no further debate, we will now go into vote. I'm missing one. Okay.
Can you hit abstain on, yeah, and the computer? Yeah, but it needs everybody to vote for it to. All right, you can read it out. Oh,
No.
well, we'll figure out the vote count later.
We'll
but-
figure out the vote count, but the new Senate President is Owen Sherman. I hereby yield the chair to Speaker Sherman.
All right, we'll move right into nominations for Senate President Pro Tempore. Is there a motion to open nominations? And are there any nominations for Senate President Pro Tempore? Senator Matthews?
I nominate Senator Kaufman.
Senator Kaufman, do you accept?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, is there a motion to close nominations? And any objections? Hearing none, is there a motion for speeches, questioning, and debates? Senator Casimiro?
Motion for 10-10-10.
There's been a motion for a 10-10-10 and a second. Are there any objections? Hearing none, Senator Kaufman, whenever you're ready.
All right. Good evening, everyone. For those who may not know me, my name is Ryan Kaufman. I'll be running to be your 58th session student Senate President Pro Tempore. To start off, a little about me. I'm going into my senior year as an industrial engineering major with a minor in mathematics. I am an Eagle Scout, and I accomplished this back in my hometown of New Jersey, so I am an out-of-state student who has moved down here to college. In my free time, I'm a part of many different theater organizations here at UCF. As many of you might know, I've previously been the front of house manager and treasurer for Project Spotlight, and have most recently joined Pineapple Theater, which is located at the Rosen campus. Moving on to some of my experience in Senate, I've been a part of student government for all 4 years of my college career, and it's been nothing but the best decision I've made. Coming to UCF my freshman year, I started in the Student Government Leadership Council, and then in the spring of that year, I was selected to be in the Senate Leadership Council, which is where I really fell in love with the work that Senate does. I then ran for election in the spring and have now been a senator for the College of Engineering and Computer Science for both the 56th and 57th sessions. I ran for FAO vice chair and then quickly became FAO chair that fall, where I got to lead the committee and allocate the budget to almost 200 clubs on campus. And in the 57th session, I was selected to be the deputy pro tempore of legislative affairs, which was a great opportunity to expand my fiscal knowledge and help see all of the initiatives that students wanted to complete through legislation. Last session, I was also the Activity and Service Fee Budget Committee Chair, where I had the opportunity to team with student government agents and allocate the $21 million across all of our agencies and departments. Because of these involvements, I've also sat on ADSB and the Finance Office, and have caucus involvement through being a previous vice chair of the Military and Veterans Caucus. Moving on to some of my initiatives. The first is about college-specific funding workshops. I believe that gathering the leaders of RSOs from specific colleges can make it easier to explain certain situations to them. For example, engineering RSOs handle a lot of projects, so having them understand the timelines of them all at the same time could be extremely beneficial. I also want to work on increasing senator engagement, and this can start with Senate exec, maybe setting an example, and then quickly transitioning into everyone learning in the body about what questions to ask and what pieces of debate they can add to the conversation. I also want to work on how committees are handled, and this should start with training the deputies to ensure that they can properly represent the pro tempor's office in the committee that they are representing. And also enforcing committee absences ensures more accountability, and if a committee is full, allows for senators that wish to join to do so. And finally, on this slide, as far as the donation drives go, I believe that a good foundation was set in the previous 2 sessions. So in partnering with RSOs such as Hearts for the Homeless, and I think this could be a trend that is continued, and getting help from SBA to strengthen and improve the outreach of the drive is definitely a goal of mine. A few more initiatives that I have, and that is starting with office hours. I want to have scheduled office hours so you know exactly where you can find me. I want to be readily available to everyone, and this would include also an open door policy. So if I'm ever in the office and not in a meeting, you can come talk to me, whether it's about funding, legislation, initiatives, or anything that you would like to discuss. Next, I want to continue personalized orientations. An orientation for new senators is statutorily required, and that would go into detail about how Senate functions, feature an overview of the committees, but I want to go more in depth about the specific committees that they might be joining, so they know how to be an active participant as soon as they attend their first meeting. And finally, I want to ensure that the DLEG keeps up with the legislation tracker, as it was shown to be extremely beneficial last session, showcasing to everyone the legislation name, what date it's been seen on, who it's been introduced by, and the vote count and signature updates. And I also want to ensure a good working relationship with the student assistant, since the creation of the agendas is now moving to their position. Establishing that connection will ensure that the smoothest transition possible. Speaking of the DLEG, we'll first talk about some of the expectations of the rest of the pro tempor's office. They should be able to host legislation workshops from the Senate perspective so that senators are up to date on our fiscal policies and know how to write legislation. They should also be able to host funding workshops for students, as well as give them the information they need to know, as opposed to what just a senator might need to know. The DLEG should also be able to draft all fiscal bills, which requires a lot of detail to sort through all of the information on Night Connect, and should be able to advise all legislation while remaining unbiased and ensure that it is in compliance with our statutes. Next, as I mentioned before, they should be able to update the legislation tracker. And then finally, as something requested of the position in the last session, they should be able to file and save a version of each piece of legislation at each reading. As for a tentative timeline, hopefully the senator would be able to be confirmed next week after submitting a resume proposal and any supporting documentation and completing an interview. This position is for someone who is knowledgeable about our fiscal procedures and can advise on legislation, and is very open to learning new things and taking on a lot of responsibility within the Senate. Moving on to the next position, the Deputy of Senate Relations, it would be following the same confirmation timeline as previously stated. As far as what would be expected of the position, they'd be expected to build a positive environment, and that can be done by hosting bonding activities, ranging from events from within the student union and on campus to social events outside of campus, and could also include bringing back the IM sports leagues and having a Senate team to compete. Next, the DZER would be in charge of RSO communication and distribution, which is something very critical that this role needs, as being able to keep track of the RSOs each senator has, as new senators might join us, is very crucial. And also providing senators the information of what updates should be given to RSOs so that everyone on campus is able to understand what resources we are able to provide. Finally, they should be able to establish good relationships with the agencies and departments. Since these are funded by student government, we should work to promote their events and help them out as much as possible. The DZER position should be filled by someone who understands the resources, organizations, agencies, and departments to campus and wants to contribute to the overall camaraderie of Senate. I truly thank you for your time and being here, and I'm really looking forward to the next session a lot. When I first moved down here from New Jersey, I've always said that I wanted to help make an impact on campus, but I didn't know if that would be possible with a student population this large. I'd like to think that this would be a great next step in that direction because I truly love all of the advocacy work that we do for students. So I thank you all, and I hope you will consider me for pro tempore. Thank you, and I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we'll now move into 10 minutes of questioning. Are there any questions? Senator Barrios.
I'll just ask my one. One of the roles of the pro tempore, as stipulated in Title III, is to provide means for the student body to learn the current SG legislative branch fiscal policies. Do you have any ideas on what can be done on your end as pro tempore for students to further understand these policies?
Yes, I do. Thank you for that question. I think having our students understand what our fiscal policies are and exactly how they can go about obtaining funding from us, especially because there's a lot of times as we get to the end of the session where people will come to us and say, and it's unfortunate that we are not able to help them because they didn't know about it sooner. So I think definitely in the fall, creating workshops open to students. I know in the previous session, we had a workshop here in the chamber, and we were able to send an announcement through Night Connect so that every student knew where to come. And we held a workshop here where all three fiscal chairs, myself as the DLEG and the previous pro tempore, were able to talk about and answer any questions given by the students. And I think that was really helpful as we're able to fill almost every seat in the chamber. And I would like to continue doing that, and especially on more occasions if we can.
Senator Perez.
Hi. So there's been talks of doing fiscal workshops for our auxiliary campuses. Do you have any sort of plans on how we can make that happen this year?
Yeah, I know this was definitely in talks in the previous session about having one specifically for like Rosen RSOs. And now I think expanding it to all of the auxiliary campus would be very beneficial, especially as being a part of now an officer for a Rosen RSO, it is very clear that the information, not just from student government, but specifically about our funding, is not spread out that far. And I think that's definitely can be seen on all three campuses as well. So definitely creating a time to do a fiscal workshop at these campuses, whether it's for all students or specifically RSOs there, I think is definitely an initiative of mine.
Are there any other questions? Senator Barrios.
So looking back on the previous 57th session, there may have been some concerns with absence when you were the DLEG, which you had a lot going on. And this is a step up. This is a step up from the DLEG to pro tempore. And so this job is going to require a larger time commitment. So I just want to ask, will you have time to fulfill this role?
Yes, I thank you for that. And I know as previously said, I was expecting a question like this. I definitely have shown that I'm very busy, but also Senate is a very big passion of mine. And I am willing and able to make room in my schedule. Obviously, over the summer, I don't have any commitments right now. So I'll be staying in Orlando. I'll be free for the summer. And then as far as fall goes, it's just classes, and I'm still working on finalizing a class schedule. So I am willing to make the time to be in person in the office, and I will be present to be able to help anyone. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Senator Smith.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to move to debate and a second. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we're now in 10 minutes of debate. Go Senator Barrios.
I will be voting in favor for this candidate as pro tempore. Senator Kaufman has shown beyond capable ability to understand statutes as well as coordinate with senators from the previous session. I've seen it happen. I'm in the office like every single day. But I think you would be perfect for this role. You have clearly a very knowledgeable base for statutes. You have that connection with the Activity and Service Fee Business Office, which I like, which you can help connect us to as the pro tempore. And I would just encourage everyone else to vote for this nominee.
Are there any other pieces of debate? If not, I'll take a motion. Senator Casimiro.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote and a second. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we are now in voting procedures. All right, with a vote count of 39-0 to 4, Senator Kaufman is elected Senate President pro tempore. Okay, announcements from the student body president, President Vicario.
Good evening, everyone. First off, congratulations. I am so unbelievably excited for you all, and I'm looking forward to an incredible year. I would like to introduce our cabinet positions for this year. So please refer to the link document when preparing for confirmations in the next few weeks. Any questions regarding these descriptions, please don't hesitate to reach out for further clarification. With that being said, here is the list of appointed individuals for this year's cabinet. Gia Arbucci for Chief of Staff, Sophia Lisman for Deputy Chief of Staff, William Mankey for Comptroller, Andrea Ruiz Bordas for Attorney General, Caitlin Manny for Governmental Affairs Coordinator, Mariana Kratom for Director of Student Affairs, Giuseppe Riccobono for Academic Affairs Coordinator, Benjamin Garcia for the Athletics Affairs Coordinator, Derek Pronto for Safety and Transportation Coordinator, Isaiah Romeo for Sustainability, Wellness, and Innovation Coordinator, Gabrielle Jean Jacques for the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Coordinator, Zoe Malone, Director of Communications, Valeria Bastidas for the Digital Media Coordinator, and finally, Valeria Bourbano for the Graphic Design Coordinator. Again, if you have any questions regarding the descriptions of these positions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Any questions for the student body president? Was there one on Zoom? Senator Capinos.
I was just wondering if the link that was provided on the agenda was accessible by other senators. I'm just having a hard time going through it. I was just wondering if the link could be re-put into the agenda.
Sure thing, Senator. I'll be sure to check it out and make sure it's accessible to everyone.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Go to announcements from the student body vice president, Vice President Jones.
Good evening again, everyone. Congrats to everyone here. Whether you're returning or newly elected, I'm really looking forward to a couple years ahead of us. Again, congrats to Speaker Sherman and Pro Temp Coffin. Looking forward to working with you both. Since being sworn in, I've been working on helping the newly appointed cabinet members with understanding the roles they've been selected for and informing them on upcoming dates for the confirmation process. I've also been sitting in on the Associate Justice interviews alongside seated justices and Interim Chief Justice Hoffner. And then a small change to the position descriptions. Senate appointments will be done through the Deputy Chief of Staff, and me and President Picard will adjust that PDF accordingly. And then to add on to that question from Senator Capinos, I am aware that some of you were having trouble opening those, so that is my fault. I will work on getting those corrected by the end of the day today, so you guys can see that.
All right, any questions for the student body vice president? None on Zoom, seeing none, thank you. And are you giving the comptroller report as well?
Is he not here? I can't.
Okay, announcements from the comptroller given by Vice President Jones.
All right. James says, hey, I hope you all are doing well. Apologies for not being there today. I started a full-time job back in Jupiter. I'm excited to see all the work you accomplished this year. Please let me know if you have any questions. And he says the CRT current balance is $3,045.23 with a reversion rate of 4.23%. And FAO is $1,645.88 with a reversion rate of 2.51.
All right, thank you. And if there's any questions on that, you guys can Teams the comptroller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney General's report, none. Cabinet forum, none. Announcements from the Interim Chief Justice Hoffman.
Good evening, Senate. First off, congratulations on the start of a new session. I look forward to seeing all the work you do this year. This week, the Judicial Council has been conducting interviews for the Associate Justice position, seats 8 through 14. So thank you to Vice President Jones for supporting us with these interviews, and we look forward to welcoming new justices in the upcoming weeks. And lastly, Associate Justices David, Nunez, and Tilke all submitted their letters of resignation last week. We thank all three of them for their hard work and dedication to the branch, and we look forward to seeing all the amazing things they do in the future.
Are there any questions for the Interim Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you. And we're now just going to go into a brief recess so that we can get committees figured out before we get those appointed into ENA. Oh, I apologize. I'm so sorry. Announcements from the Interim Supervisor of Elections, Supervisor Calloway.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, and I'm so happy to see everyone here today. So we do have applications for seats 1 through 7 that are currently open and will close tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. We've been actively promoting applications and encouraging students interested in leadership, elections, and student government involvement to apply. As we move into our transition period, we're beginning preparations for interviews and onboarding a new group of commissioners for the 2026-27 term. I will also be stepping into the role of interim supervisor of elections, and over the summer, just focusing on transition planning, internal structure, and preparing for the election cycle. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the interim supervisor of elections? Seeing none, thank you. And now we're going to recess for the committee. So is there a motion for a 5-minute recess? And any objections? Seeing none, I recess this meeting at 7:09 p.m. to come back at 7:14. Is there a motion to move back to? Oh, right. Is there anyone who did not hear their name at all just then? Senator El-Khorrak. Do you have a preference in what committee you'd like to join? SBA, NCRT, and FAO are full. Yes. ORS. Okay, so I hereby appoint Senator El-Khorrak to the ORS committee. Right. And I hereby name Pro Temp Kaufman to be acting chair of all of those committees. Now is there a motion to move back to internal committee caucus time? All right, we have ENA for 20 minutes. So I recess this meeting at 7:21 p.m. to reconvene at 7:41.
Where were we?
Is there a motion to move back to announcements from the Senate President? And any objections? Hearing none. Thank you all. I just want to briefly go over the process and timeline for the ILA and ELA appointments. I intend to have applications open until Sunday at 11:59. So I'll send another email or another Teams message to go over this again, but basically just send me an email with your resume, a proposal that you may have, and then I want to schedule interviews so that the choices are made for the next Senate meeting and potentially can be confirmed at that time. Any questions for myself? Seeing none. Announcements from the Senate President Pro Tempore.
Yeah, it's just basically same thing for DLEG and DSRA applications. I'll send out a big message about it tomorrow. About applications will be open until Sunday night, submitting resume proposals, supporting documents, and then holding interviews early next week. That's all for me.
Any questions for the Pro Tempore? Seeing none. We have no old business, no fiscal committee reports, internal committee reports, E&A committee. Thank you all for electing me as your chair. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year. We don't have any further announcements. Thank you. Any questions for the E&A chair? Seeing none. No internal legislation. Senate forum. Anyone wishing to speak in Senate forum? If there is not, we will go to Senate deliberations. There is none. Advisors report. Ashley.
Happy Thursday, folks. Welcome to the 58th session. I am so, clap it up. I am so excited now that we are up and rolling to see more of your faces around the office, seeing y'all stop by my office. It's going to be great. I know it's been a minute since our orientation, so I just encourage for folks that met new people, met new friends, started talking about initiatives and all that good stuff, reconnect with those folks, right? This is the time where y'all are officially on duty, right? So feel free to do that. I encourage you to do that even. Congratulations to our new speaker and pro tem. Big deal, big deal. And I'm looking forward to meeting with all of our newly elected chairs within the next week. Just know that I'll probably be sending an email out to all of your Senate emails until I can get you access, once you're elected, to any leadership roles you're pursuing, so that I can start meeting with you all, right? You will be new to the role. And so I want to make sure that we can touch base, talk about what you may be nervous about, but also some of the things that you're excited for. So just keep a lookout for that as folks go through their time in the next week or next 2 weeks or so, as we do vice chairs as well. Also, to follow up on some things from orientation, I went ahead and typed up, for those that were there on day one and did the collaborations within your colleges, I typed up all of those notes. So that document is linked there for you all. So you could see, what was I thinking about in that past version of myself a month ago, right? I have it there for you, as well as some of the slides from the orientation as well, if you want to reference that at all. And then I have linked there the ethics training, because I was able to update that for folks that have done it in previous sessions. And so that is there. I need to go and make sure that folks can redo it. But I know that that is something that you all have to do. So I just want to make sure the link was available. As you enter the office for the remainder of this session, please make sure you're introducing yourself to our front desk staff. Y'all are a lot of new faces, and y'all will be a part of committees that they get a lot of questions about. So it's a lot easier when they can put a name to or a face to these names that they know have joined for this new session. And I know they're excited to see you all. And so I just want to make sure we're doing that. And as our first national day of the 58th session, can I get a drum roll, please? Today, May 14th, is National Buttermilk Biscuit Day. All right, so if you're a fan, I am a Popeyes biscuit hater. I do think that's an assassination attempt if someone hands me one, but I'm willing to debate that at a separate time and location. Oh yeah, real quick before I do that, Amanda is adding everyone to their respective Teams channels for the committees you were appointed to. So if you have any trouble accessing that, please let me know in the next couple days and I can go ahead and try to fix that. Also let me know if you have any trouble accessing your Senate emails because I can also help you with that. But that's it for me.
Are there any questions for Ashley? Senator Casimiro.
I'm already signed in on our ethics training from last session, and it's not like, I guess, restarted for me, so I can't take like the quiz
I
again.
got you. I will fix that.
Senator Barrios.
For Senate emails, are we allowed to start utilizing the emails to send out emails to other faculty?
You were officially sworn in, so yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ashley? Seeing none, Maite.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to those who were here last session, and warm welcome to our new senators. For the ones who don't know me, my name is Maite. I'm the student assistant, and you can find me right next to the Chief of Justice office. I've noticed that some of you have been sending emails to my personal email, so please make sure to use my student assistant email. I just put it there so you can email to that. And for anything related to student government moving forward, using the correct email helps me keep track of SG communication. So that would be great if you communicate with me through that. And I also wanted to let you know that the vice chair elections will be taking place in 2 weeks. And once the elections are completed, I will be having conversations with the elected vice chairs moving forward.
All right, any questions for Maite? Seeing none, we're back in miscellaneous business. I hereby resign Rishi Patel from the GAP committee, and we will start senator shoutouts next week. So I will take a motion. Senator List.
Motion to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? And a second, thank you. Hearing none, is it actually?
It can be.
I'm sorry, was there a better person?
No.
Okay.
All right. Hagenbook.
Present.
Reed.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Casimiro.
Present.
Callis. Capinos.
Present.
Sepika. Wacker.
Present.
Critchfield.
Present.
Jane.
Present.
Kelly Perez.
Present.
Sherman.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Leahy.
Present.
Gentile.
Present.
Gregg.
Present.
Kaufman.
Present.
Luch.
Present.
McNulty. Miller.
Present.
Patel.
Present.
Rashid.
Present.
Rubio.
Present.
Thompson.
Present.
El Harak. Gaudio. Canugia. Okay. Cronova. Rickett.
Present.
Hayter.
Present.
Macadia.
Present.
Phillips.
Present.
Boisberg.
Present.
Montanez.
Present.
Nunez Ferreira.
Present.
Nguyen. Habgood.
Present.
Veronica Perez.
Present.
Sorry. Barber.
Present.
Barrios.
Present.
Rosso.
Present.
Jones.
Present.
Matthews.
Present.
McCray.
Present.
Nushma Deborah.
Present.
Renda.
Present.
Sharif.
Present.
Simmons.
Present.
Vieira.
Present.
Zivin.
Present.
42 out of 50.
All right, thank you. I adjourn this meeting at 7:51 p.m.
Congratulations, guys. Ashley, thank you for pronouncing my last name right. I know it's very difficult. I did. Congratulations. I was talking to you.
Hopefully they don't have 15 minutes. How long it takes. It should be back right.